Jude hasn't had a bunch of attempts, but just what have you seen from him in these 3 games?
Yeah, aside from the one mishit PAT that he had last game, I think he's done a nice job in the games. With opportunities that he's had, he's been able to excel in them. And that's something, obviously, that is expected from whoever the kicker is out there. Is whenever we send you out there, the expectation is we come out with points. So he's shown a level of consistency with that. And in practice, had a nice day yesterday, and something that he'll obviously stay connected to, just being the best version of himself so we can continue to score points with him.
Is you see around the league, there's just these monster legs, and 60 and they're taking them and hitting a lot of them. Is he a guy that you think is just a guy that's okay right now, or do you think he's more than serviceable, and you think he can be a weapon?
Yeah,
we really have, like Dan said, we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Jude. He does have the leg strength that you're seeing across the league, and if you see his frame, he's not built like a small person. He has some power to him. He's strong in the weight room. He has good flexibility to him, and I think that equates to him having the ability to hit the big ball. Obviously, like in the games, we'll take a common sense approach, of when we send him out there, and just we know that if we need a kick from far distance, he does have the ability to do so.
Is it different when a guy's unproven like him when you're setting the line of the game? Maybe you're going to be a little bit more conservative, whereas someone like Graham, you've seen him do it a million times.
Yeah, I think at this point, having him kick, obviously a game last year in the preseason, and now obviously kicking on our active roster here these past couple games, we have confidence in him just like we have confidence in Graham to be able to be sent out there whenever his opportunity arises.
Have you guys continued the competition with he and Koo in practice the way you have the last couple of weeks?
Yes, yeah, that's something that we'll always stay connected to. And again, that's to me just what the National Football League is about, is competition and ultimately showing up every day and being the best version of yourself. And I truly believe that equates to better production from all parties involved in that competition. So we'll continue to work with Koo, and we'll continue to work with Jude.
How's Graham doing? Is he able to kick it all again?
Yeah, you'll have to ask Dave's on that injury-wise. Not sure about that.
What has Jamie done well then on the kickoff? So what have you seen from him in that regard?
Yeah, his placement has been elite. That's also helps the coverage aspect on both kickoff and punt. His ability to directionally kick, and that's something again that whenever you have a punter that has the ability to kick off as well, I think it creates a lot of game day value for him, because again, you don't know whether you're going to have more kickoffs than punts, more punts than kickoffs. So the ability to keep him in the flow of game, the ability to be able to use him in both regards, I think is very valuable for us. And I think he's done a excellent job in terms of the locations on both phases.
You mentioned the game day responsibilities. For Jamie right now, being the holder and also doing kickoffs and punts, the value that he's brought now as a player, I gotta imagine that you guys look at him and say, he's one of our most valuable guys to have in special teams.
Yeah. Yep. And I always think that if you want to have good special teams, it starts with your specialists. Your specialists have to be able to execute, and the fact that Jamie does have the versatility to obviously hold like many punters do, all right, but to be able to punt like he does at a high level in these conditions, and then also to be able to kick off, there is tremendous value in it. And I've always thought of him as a great teammate. He's a guy that studies the game, and he's a guy that ultimately wants to be the best for this football team. He's one of the, like I said it, he's one of the best teammates that we have, and he thrives with that type of responsibility and understands the importance of it.
We always talk about that sort of backward spin that left-footed punters have. Does the same thing go for kickoffs because it's coming off the teeth?
You have to hit the sweet spot more often than not. I know you're seeing more dirty kicks across the league, but whether you're righty or lefty, when you hit those dirty kicks, they're going to come out oddball regardless. When you're hitting a traditional kickoff, the rotation of it is still up and down. So still the goal is always to hit the sweet spot and make sure that ball is in the landing zone.
So there's no real difference between a lefty or a righty doing that?
Not entirely, but again, like when you look across the league and you see those dirty kicks, that's when you're really like, okay, is that because he's a righty or is that because he's a lefty? Uh-huh. It's honestly that rotation of the ball when people are trying to hit those dirty kicks is, you don't know where it's going to go, whether you're righty or lefty. Yeah. So, yeah.
How big a factor has Dane become? It seems like he's become a force for you guys in regards to coverage and coverage units.
Yeah, Dane is playing at a Pro Bowl level. He is number 1 in the league in special teams tackles. And you see all his study habits, all his hard work this offseason of improving the things that he needed to show up on game day. And it's infectious. I mean, the guy has been playing really, really well for us. And, I want to make note of the fact that it is elite right now. Playing at that Pro Bowl level and that consistency to do it from a game in, game out basis ultimately elevates everybody else. But really fired up for him, the success that he's having.
What are the pros and cons of the rugby kick, Jamie? When you hit that one on Thursday where you kind of rolled out to his left, right, kicked it, you don't do it every time, so why do it? What's the...
Yeah, that's something he grew up doing. He grew up playing rugby, and that is ultimately how he learned to punt. So that was the first instance in which he started punting a football was like that. And then my job is always to try and design these things my job is to design whether it plays, whether it be certain techniques to feature their biggest strengths. And since that is a big strength of his, that is something that we could obviously stay connected to. But he's been able to excel in traditional punting too. So again, the versatility with Jamie, that's been awesome to have.
Mike, talk about your gunners, especially Art. I mean, he seems like a unique character. He told me yesterday about how you fire him up during games. He loves to blow people up. He was even getting at it with Sirianni on the sidelines. How's it like coaching him, and what are you seeing from him as a gunner?
There's a lot of passion with Art Green. And that passion obviously shows up on game day with the energy, the enthusiasm. The passion also shows up during the week. Art truly wants to be the best. And when you have those aspirations of being the best, it takes uncommon work ethic. And to me, what's uncommon is studying more than just the given material, asking questions more than just the simple questions. And that's something that Art Green has been able to do. And what's cool about having Nick Jones and Art Green is they kind of feed off each other and are very competitive with one another too. So when one person gets a tackle, it's, I got that one. And then the next guy is like, okay, I'm going to get the next one. And it ultimately, again, competition to me elevates the level of both those guys.
He always jacked up Art, even in meetings there, because he seems like a guy that's always on a high level. Always.
There is energy with Art Green, always, yeah. And he doesn't pick and choose when he wants to be that person, and that to me is the ultimate sign of respect, is when you're the same guy every day. So tons of respect for Art.
You surprised that teams have kicked through gunner the last few weeks?
Not necessarily surprised. I think, when you have, guys like Tay, guys like Motor, guys like Gunner, all those guys have had success returning the ball for us this year. So both those guys in that regard, are you like, okay, should we kick it to Gunner? Should we kick it to Tay? Should we kick it to Motor? Whoever it is, those guys have taken advantage of those opportunities. So the production has been equivalent with both those guys. And Gunner did have a few more opportunities last game. And that was cool to see them have success again, because it kind of felt like teams were favoring away from him. So I'm really excited when the ball is in his hands, because obviously you guys see the run skill and the production on kickoff return and on punt return. So whenever you can get the ball in his hand, it's awesome.
How does the altitude impact the kicking game?
Yeah, the ball traditionally flies a little bit further with higher altitude. And, depending on the wind factor on game day, the wind could play into it as well. Because when the ball is having a little bit more rise on it, sometimes the wind can play into whether the ball continues to carry a certain direction, versus whether it doesn't. When you're at sea level and you're hitting a traditional kick, it somewhat stays true to what you would think it is. And then obviously at altitude, there is a little bit more rise than sea level.